Hello, everyone. Welcome to Thursday's edition of Take 5, where we're taking 5 minutes or so, listening to the words of Jesus and seeing what sort of application they have to our lives, to our culture, to our world, right here in 2020. We've been looking at the Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus is really exposing the believer's ethic, which is very, very contrary to the ethics of the time and the world, but even of our time as well. We've gone through a season where Jesus has talked about don't worry and explains why. We're going to get to the end of that tomorrow in Matthew 6 and verse 38. But leading into that, I want you to hear, verse 34, 6 and 34. Listen to chapter 6 and verse 33. That sort of is his beginning to summarize the whole section on not worrying. Instead of worrying about all the things that you should worry about, here's what he says. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. We'll get into all these things even tomorrow. But listen first to what he says. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Jesus had a lot to say about the kingdom of God. He would say that the kingdom of God is among you. The kingdom of God is within you. Kingdom of God. And so often we think of the kingdom of God, which is Jesus is trying to explain the ethics of that kingdom right in the Sermon on the Mount. But so often we think of the kingdom of God as something that you die into, meaning you live your life in the kingdom of this world for 70, 80, 90 years, as long as God gives you, and then you die into this new kingdom, heaven, the kingdom of God. But what Jesus is saying is the kingdom of God is not something you die into. The kingdom of God is something you are born again into in this life. And so by faith you follow Christ, and by faith through his Spirit you now are given a new ethics of a new kingdom, and those ethics, your new life, in a sense, the kingdom of God is within you, is among you. We ought to be living the ethics, the righteousness of the kingdom of God right where we live now. That's why the Sermon on the Mount and the manner in which we live, not to murder, not to hate, not to commit adultery, not to lust. An ethic that starts from the inside and goes out and affects not only our lives, but our culture and our society in huge ways. Seek first the kingdom of God, an ethic, a character within you now that you have followed Christ. And I think of this, he says, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. There's a contrast to that. Think about this just for a moment. With all of our high anxiety over our political opinions and allegiances, could it be, and I think it is so, that our allegiance to the kingdom of God supersedes our allegiance to any political party? I've been accused of being part of one political party because of something I've said, or another political party. Please don't do that. In some ways, I feel politically homeless because neither party correctly reflects all of the agenda of the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God, the agenda is about life, sanctity of life. That sounds like one political party. It's about caring for the poor. That sounds like another political party. It sounds, the kingdom of God ethic is about human sexuality and marriage. Sounds a little like one political party. The kingdom of God is about caring for the oppressed and the poor. Sounds like another political party. In other words, by seeking the kingdom of God, you don't get boxed into one political party only. It transcends that. And I long for the church today to transcend the politics and the political parties of today. And so often we get lumped into, usually it's on the right side, but for us to not get lumped into one political party at all, because there are going to be aspects of either one that we're going to say, that's not Christ-like. So we don't just have to swallow hard or hold our nose and say, I'm going to buy into that political party or that politician, hook, line, and sinker. No. Seek first the kingdom of God and realize that the ethics of that kingdom transcend the ethics of any political party that you will so closely align. Be careful. Be careful of that. Our ethic is to love your neighbor, regardless of what they look like or how they behave. Love your neighbor as Christ would love them, and to so do your good works that people see them. Light your candle that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. That's the kingdom of Christ's. That's the ethic of Christ's kingdom. Be really clear on that. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. I'll see you on Friday as we continue to take 5 in Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. I'll see you.